Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, April the 29th. Hey, before we get talking about fishing reports with the guys, we're going to talk about Fish Fest. Fish Fest is May 6th. It's next Saturday right at Bucks Island. We're going to feed you. We're going to entertain you. We're going to educate you with seminars with pro anglers like Matt Herron, Scott Canterbury, Wes Logan, John Cruz, and more that are going to be there in the dealership talking fishing, all types of fishing. We're going to give you discounts in the loft. But first, let's talk about how we can help you catch a few more fish. Let's talk to the guys and see what they have to say. Well, good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, April the 29th. Hey, we're on the eve of Fish Fest, and we're going to talk to one of our presenters. Let's start at Neely Henry right now. Give me a quick rundown of what's going on that lake.
Neely's doing pretty good right now. I bass fished more this week than I did crappie fish. Catching some fish on top water. Got a little stain coming through it right now. You know, it's weather issues again. Once everything kind of stabilizes, we've had some cooler weather and some wind. And, of course, about late midweek, we had some rain come in too. So the top water bite, caught some fish on a buzzbait, fish on a frog. They didn't really seem to be relating to the grass as much as I was hoping they would be this week. Everything, I think they'd pull the water down a little bit, expecting all this rain coming in. So it was out in front of the grass. And even some of my plastics I was pitching caught more smaller fish on it. Spinnerbait bite, top water bite, that's what I'd kind of look for with this fresh water coming in.
Coos River Team Trail was at Weiss, and it took a pretty healthy bag to win, but it seemed to be feast or famine. What's going on at Weiss?
Just like you said, if you set down on the right patch of fish, you're going to get heavy, and it's one of those deals where you can spend the whole day hitting the same type of stuff, shallow wood cover, little points, things like that, where some of these fish can back out on. The grass at Weiss is a little behind right now, so you're looking really for some of the greener stuff that's mixing in with that dead grass. And I think that's the key. The places that you can find it maybe 8-10 inches deeper in some of these little pockets that's got grass in it, that's holding the better fish. There's a lot of stuff. Once again, Weiss and Neely right now, you can fish the same type of stuff that looks just the same, but water depth is playing an issue on that. And two, with the current we've had in this wind, more protective areas seem to be holding the bigger fish.
Let's talk about the crappie bite overall on the two lakes.
The weather issues the last month got these fish, and they don't know what to do. The fish that are shallow are starting to move back out a little bit. A lot of these fish that are holding in that 10, 12-foot range, they're staying right there. I think now it's shifting around to taking the heavier jigs vertical, getting in the brush. The fish are going more to a summer pattern. You know, that mayfly bait, that's what I've been using with Bobby Garland. They got a brand new bait out with mayfly. It's really starting to show out on some of this dock shooting. So if you like to get up there and get tight and get around these docks, you can catch fish. What I'm doing is backing out and dropping some baits vertical, just straight up and down in some of this structure, brush pile stumps, drop-offs, and starting to catch some good fish doing that too.
Lee, thanks for everything, and we'll talk to you again next week. Well, good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, April 29th. Hey, we're joined by Josh Herron, who's going to be at Fish Fest this week, coming up Saturday with a Reaction Innovations and Tattoo Designs booth. Josh, what's going on Logan Martin and Lay Lake these days?
Man, it really depends on the day. We keep going from spawning fish to I swear there's no fish spawning. So it's definitely hit or miss, man. There's a bunch of spawning fish caught at Lay over the weekend. Not so much on Logan. I think those fish are a little bit farther ahead for whatever reason. But it's kind of like everywhere else on the coaster right now. No two are fishing the same.
Yeah, I got you. Hey, I keep hearing rumors of a big one being caught at Lay, something 14 pounds. Have you been able to substantiate that at all?
No, and I heard the rumors the day it happened. If it's real, I've never seen a fisherman that keep his mouth closed for that long. So I'm gonna go with no, or Alabama DNR's trying to cover their butt and brought one up from Livingston for a really good photo shoot.
I gotcha. Okay. All right. Let's talk about Lay Lake a little bit more. What's going on there as far as the where the fish at? What's the watercolor like? What are you hearing?
Oh, there's a little bit of color coming through it right now, about like Lee said. But there's still fish spawning at Lay. They were last weekend. I know for a fact ABA got one sight fishing. There was a bunch of fish that got caught on Saturday sight fishing. The problem with Lay is the fish kind of spawn a little bit different, especially the largemouth. They'll actually spawn behind the grass, so they're a little bit harder to see. Spots will actually spawn on the seawalls on Lay a lot. So, but I think we're just about done with that. We ought to be kicking like full blown shad spawn here in the next week or two, followed by some fry garters and some bluegill beds and all the fun stuff. But it's still cover ground and just keep sunglasses on and look.
So what about the crappie bite in the last 30 seconds? What have you seen from the crappie fishermen on the lakes?
Oh, they're still everywhere. There's guys out from 15 feet deep to 15 inches. It just, I think they're as confused as the bass are right now.
I understand that. Seems to be a little bit tougher. Josh, man, as always, brother, we appreciate everything. We'll see you next week at Fish Fest, and we'll talk to you again next week, brother. Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, April the 29th. Hey, we're joined by Tom Ott, who's going to come visit us down there for Fish Fest on Saturday, May the 6th. He'll probably even be willing to sign a couple of autographs because he's our star from Guntersville. Tom, what's happening up there on the big lake?
Well, I think if I'm a star, I've been burning out here for a few weeks. But it's man, I'm telling you, it's really interesting to listen to to Lee and the guys talk about the other lakes because I'm experiencing the same thing up here on Guntersville. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, we saw a lot of fish real shallow, and then there was nothing real shallow, and things kind of moved out of really intermediate depths. Last week, a lot of fish moved up shallow again. That changed with the rain. And I don't know if the fish really moved as much, but they just got real inactive with that, with the bottom getting a little turbid, things like that. You couldn't see them. But it really changed the bite, there's some fish that are slightly moving out deep. I think that's going to hurt and maybe help a few people, this coming weekend. There's some big tournaments coming up. There's a 250 boat college, 250 boat high school, 200 boat casting and catching going out Saturday. It's going to be a crowded lake. It's going to fish really small. But, there's those small groups of fish that are moving out deep. I think some guys can capitalize maybe on that. But I think a lot of people are going to be doing that, and that's really going to hurt that bite. I just don't think there's enough out there to really sustain, the whole weekend. But there's a lot of fish still shallow. Still been the same. It's just been difficult to catch a big fish. You got to have 6 and 7 pound fish along with a good solid limit if you're going to do anything in a tournament, and it's just been hard to come by those fish. So it's going to take a little bit of work, I think, this weekend. But you can go out there and have a lot of fun. There's no doubt. I've seen some brim starting to move up shallow. Starting to make some beds. The crappie bite's really strong right now. So I mean, the lake's fishing well. It's just it's tough if you're a tournament fisherman, no doubt.
Well, it seems like every time we have a tournament, the weather changes. I'm down here at St. T. Cooper experiencing that for the elite guys. The weather changed on them. It was warm and sunny last week, and here it is. Anytime you have that, it's going to be a little bit of a pain. You're going to have to make adjustments. That's fishing. Tom, as always, brother, we appreciate everything. Thanks for the time, and we will see you next week, and we'll talk to you again on the Fishing Report.
All right, guys, sounds good. Tight lines, be safe out there. Looking forward to Fish Fest. We'll see you all there.
Well, good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, April the 29th. Hey, we are joined by Gentry Gordy, who's going to be at our Fish Fest event next week. May 6th, come see us, come meet Gentry, and we'll talk autographs and fishing. But let's talk fishing on Jordan Lake and Lake Martin right now. Let's start with Jordan Lake. Gentry, what are you seeing?
Not a lot of changes, Dano, but, with the rain it's definitely going to get that water moving some more. So your upriver, your eddies with your big jigs, your big spinner bait, stuff like that, I think will probably come into play a little more than it has been the last couple of weeks without the rain. It's going to muddy it up some more. But, down on the south end and Blackwell and, the New Lake, place like that, I think your grass bite will still hold pretty strong with the warmer weather.
Something about, the muddy water, a lot of times, you want to go to hardwood, but does the Coosa River grass still seem to hold them in that grass because it's got a rooty root system. It's a woody root system.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Especially, it seems like to me when you find that dead grass that's real, excuse me, still real thick. And like you said, it's stalky. The mud don't seem to bother that to these fish to me.
All right, let's turn to Lake Martin in the last minute and a half we got here. Let's talk about Lake Martin. What are you seeing? That's a clear water fishery. Is that muddy water affecting that a little bit more?
Not so much, Dano. It's still stained and pretty much all the lake. But I think it's probably 8 inches to a foot below full pool. So so technically it's pretty much full. So your seawalls with your buzz baits, your spinner baits, the shad are up there. This time of year, the muddy water is not affecting it to me.
All right, so shad pattern or the shad spawn starting to show up a little bit. Is the lake progressing because it's a little warmer down here than it is in the north?
Yeah, you're getting more bites, but still the big ones are elusive. They're still hard to come across. You'll catch them, your big largemouth, when they, with this stained water and pulling up like that. But number wise, it's just take the family out. It's a lot of fun. You could pretty much catch them on top water all day, but the big ones are still hiding somewhere.
Anytime you can catch a bunch of fish on a topwater bait all day, that's kind of fun. What topwaters are you throwing?
I like the Storm, Arashi Pop, and then just, a Zara Spook, a Super Spook, anything that'll walk.
I like that Arc Outlaw. That's the new one that I've been enjoying. Hey, Gentry, as always, man, we appreciate everything, and we will see you next week at Fish Fest.
I'll be there, guys. Thanks.
Well, that'll do it for our Bucks Island area fishing report for Saturday, April the 29th. Thanks to Josh, Tom, Lee, and Gentry for everything that they do to help us put a few more fish in the boat. And don't forget Fish Fest, because Fish Fest is all about you guys, the best part of Bucks Island. Whether you're looking for parts, whether you're looking for service, whether you're looking for tackle to go fishing, or to get that new boat that you've dreamed of, we're right here for you, and we're putting on Fish Fest to thank you for everything that you do for being the best part of Bucks Island.